GTM Podcast Buddha Stories Porisat The Cannibal Episode 15. Hello everyone. You are listening to GTM Podcast Buddha Story. We hope you enjoy it so far and learning the Buddhist wisdom along as well. Since this story was the Buddha's past life, the character name and culture may be quite a bit unfamiliar to many of you. But once you get used to it, the story is well worth spending time upon to listen. And one more thing, before we start, please subscribe to the channel to support us and keep the program continuing. Let's not waste our time anymore and get into the story. From the last episode, King Suttasoma felt that his heart was full of joy after listening to the Dhamma of the Lord Buddha. He honored the Brahmin with $4,000. Then he said, "Master, you don't know the value of this Dhamma. From now on, everyone will perceive that it is Sahasraraha. It is worth 1,000 for each of the verse." Then there was the sound of rejoicing for his kindness. Long live the king! However, the parents of King Suttasoma felt neglected by his action. They thought that they lost their wealth. When the king paid respect to them, they criticized that, "Suttasoma, that Dhamma is worth only $80 or $90, not more than $100. You know it well that those Dhamma are worth 4,000. King Suttasoma knew that his parents felt like they lost their wealth. He said, "Father, I hope to improve my knowledge and wisdom, and I want the wise men to be my companions. I would never have enough knowledge. Please don't feel bad for such a mere sum of 4,000. I made a vow to Porisat that I will return to him, and now it is the time to live. I want to say goodbye and wish that you will take care of your health." After hearing his farewell, his parents and everyone were surprised and shocked. They didn't expect that this situation could happen again. The king's father objected, "We have armies, and they are quite skillful. We could bring them to arrest this cannibal and kill him." However, King Suttasoma insisted that he must return to Porisat. Feeling heartbroken, his parents began to cry. They could only beg, "Please don't go, don't leave us." All the ladies of the royal court and the officials at the palace were all crying and looking so sad. They spoke with tears in their eyes. "Please don't leave us. How can we live without you?" The news of King Suttasoma spread throughout the capital. The confusion arose. People were in panic. They tried to check on the news whether it was true or not. Once they realized that it was true, sadness had spread throughout the city. At the palace, King Suttasoma informed about the necessity for him to return one more time. "Everyone, please listen to me. The reason I was able to return here was because Porisat released me for promising him that I will return. I gave him my words. If I don't keep my words, who would want to associate with me?" At dawn, King Suttasoma bid farewell to his parents, his queen, his children, and the ladies of the court. Then he left the palace. The ladies of the court, ministers, officials, and town people could not say or stop their king, but only cried. They mourned and followed him until they reached the gate of the city. A large group of people followed him still. Thus, the king warned them not to follow him and told them to go back. But they refused to do so. Finally, he forced them to stop by using a stick and draw the line on the ground. Then he announced firmly, If anyone still has faith in me, please don't cross this line. People stopped following him once they heard his words and submit to his affirmation. They stood still at the line with tears in their eyes and looking at their king until he walked out of their sight. Since Porisat let King Suttasoma go, his attention didn't matter to Porisat whether His Majesty came back or not. If His Majesty wouldn't, he will accept any kind of punishment from the tree sprite. In the morning, while he prepared the crematorium, brought woods and setting up fire. Then he sharpened the wood for a weapon while he was waiting for the woods to turn to charcoal. At the right moment, King Suttasoma arrived. The cannibal was so happy. He asked King Suttasoma, "Your Majesty, you have finished the task you wanted to do?" King Suttasoma responded, "Yes, I did, Porisat, my friend. I have listened to the words of Kassapa Buddha from the Brahmin, and I was honor him for that Dhamma by offering $4,000 to the Brahmin who was the preacher. I finished all the necessary tasks, so I return to you as promised. Porisat, my friend, please sacrifice me as you wish." Porisat thought King Suttasoma was so brave. He was not afraid of death that just lay in front of him. King Suttasoma invited me to kill him. What was the trick? Porisat realized that nothing could cause the miracle, and assumed that after King Suttasoma came back from listening to the words of Sattaraha Dhamma, this must be the cause that made His Majesty not afraid of death. Porisat now became interested to listen to the Sattaraha Dhamma too. He said to the king, "Suttasoma, the chance of eating human flesh is still here. The charcoal still smoking. The meat that boiling on the smoking coals is not good. I have to broil on the red hot coals when it stops smoking. While waiting for the coals to turn red, I would like to listen to the words, can I?" Listening to Porisat then, the king thought, "Porisat is a sinful person. I should make him feel shame about it." So he replied, "Porisat, my friend, you are a sinful person who only cares about your mouth and stomach. This might be the reason why you were exiled from your kingdom. However, these words very honor the Dhamma. Dhamma and a Dhamma, that which is not accord with the Dhamma, cannot go together. A cannibal who has sinful behaviors, whose hands are covered by blood and speak no truth like you, how can you respect the Dhamma? What can you do with it after you listen to these words?" Although the king's words seemed so excessive, Porisat still listened calmly. He had never shown any sign of anger or getting irritated. It was because the king's mercy that subdued the pride of Porisat. Porisat claimed, "My friend Suttasoma, am I the only person who commits a Dhamma in this world? What about a hunter who hunts wild animals for food? The king and minister, together with his officials, go into the forest hunting only for their entertainment and make others suffering. In the battlefield, soldiers who kill their enemies, and all of them are equal because they are the same kind of murderer. Shouldn't they be punished in hell too? Why don't you blame those people as you blame me for committing a Dhamma? If they are not guilty, I am not guilty either, right?" To correct the wrong view of Porisat, the king said, "There are 10 kinds of meat that a man should not eat. These are elephants, horses, snakes, dogs, lions, bears, tigers, leopards, yellow tigers, and human flesh. But you ate meat that is prohibited. Therefore, you commit a Dhamma. King Suttasoma's word pierced straight through Porisat's heart. Then he changed the subject to counter the king. Suttasoma, you had gotten your freedom and had a chance to listen to Dhamma, but you still came back to me. You know that after return, you will be sacrificed. Your Majesty, you are well known as a wise man, but I see that you don't know the royal code principle. You are not as clever as people think you are. If you were smart, you would know the royal code principle. You won't come back to me to be killed. King Suttasoma realized that Porisat changed the subject. It shows the character of the fool who sees no one better than himself. What would the king reply? What will happen to him after the agreement? Let's find that out in the next episode of Porisat The Cannibal.